I preface this with today has been a day. I know I say this a lot. I am aware of this. I've just done 12.5 hours. I haven't even had time for a pee between stopping work and starting this. So I'm hurrying. I'm having just one of those days. I've spent the entire afternoon doing someone else's job, and it turns out the guy who spent hours on the phone moaning about it, turned out he had full access to do it himself, but didn't. And well, and then thought it was my job to do something didn't even know existed, and it's part of his. So, and then of course at 4 o'clock, bear in mind it's well, 25 minutes to 8. At 4 o'clock, I'm logging off now. You wanted this shit. Yeah, well, my day's done now. But you wanted this shit. Yeah, well, I'm going home now. I'm logging off now. I'm going home. Okay. Thanks for leaving me to do this while you sod off, and I really have no interest in this whatsoever. This does not affect my life, does not affect my... I didn't even know this even existed, because I don't deal with the output from it, I don't see the input to it. I really have less to do with this than the running of the country, to be honest. So, at least with the running of the country, I get to vote who has a say. I'm sorry, how did I end up with this? But apparently it's all my problem now. So. Anyway, so needless to say, I did not do half the things that I intended to do today. One of which was I ordered a replacement for the table that this sits on. Because as we know, this one tilts. And it was designed to tilt, don't get me wrong, that is the nature of this thing. But we also know how much it annoys the living shit out of me. So I have ordered a table that doesn't have the pedestal in the middle. It's kind of rounded in a C shape round the back. And it arrived today, and I was going to take 10 minutes to put it together, and because it really is only like 2 bolts kind of thing. But of course I've been in this thing all afternoon, and I've done something to my thumb. You can't tell, but it's kind of got lines on it for some reason. It is really angry, and it really, 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 really hurts, to the point that even, minor things are annoying it. So, yeah, it's, I will do my best to do things today, but at the same time, there is a bit of me kind of going, don't hold your breath, because, well, ow comes to mind, and it really is exceptionally painful. Only part of it has been holding my laptop and holding it, in just the right angle while I think about things and try and read things and do certain things, and I think it's just pissed from that. But at the same time, it is a thumb, and as I say, I haven't had any food, which, you don't get fat by it, you don't get fat from salad, as the phrase goes, but you also don't get fat by skipping meals. So that's kind of an issue for me, in that I am hungry and somewhat devoid of food. We want to sort this out. So we need to work out why this hasn't entirely done what I thought. And the answer is because I'm a dickwad, and I need to do that, and I need to do this. And I think is the short answer. I need to do a bit of that. I think that'll fix it. And if I screech that up, it'll probably look much more like the other one. No, it's got a cross in it now. Managed to cross some of the bobbins, so let's undo that. Yeah, that's why something else has gone wrong. It's got crosses in it. Or twists, whatever. Right. Excuse me, solution. And of course, inevitably, someone who, you know, cares and means quite a bit to me, gives me a ring while I'm still working and I'm cursing at this thing that I'm doing that's biting me back. And if you want to know what I was trying to do, I want to strip out a backslash and turn it into either 2 backslashes or a forward slash or a comma or frankly fucking anything. And in essence, there is a calculation option that you can do on the field, and you'd think great. And one of the options is to substitute contents, great. And it has the option to replace old text with new text, great. Doesn't work. It distinctly does not seem to work. In that it either does nothing or it eats everything. Sorry, there's 3 things it does. Either, so if you have C:\\Windows and you want to remove the backslash because \W is not a thing, you need to make it either forward slash so that it will be happy, or 2 backslashes because then that cancels out the first one. So you either end up with C:\Windows, and then should you want System32 underneath that, you get C:\Windows System32 as all one pile of text, and you'd have to pick out the individual folders from it. Or you get a blank field completely, or it does nothing. And so I raised the ticket against the people whose system it is that has this monumentally shitness do it. And, well, their reply basically was, well, can you show me? Well, I can't be the only one who needs to do this. Give us access to, you know, the form that you fill in to get help with it says, you know, please grant access to this account so that they may look at your form. I tried that account doesn't exist. And so I was contacted by someone and they said, can you add me to it? Well, yeah, I can find you. But the moment I add you, it just ignores the fact that I tried to add you and pretends that I didn't do a thing. So, no, I can't. Your system is too shit. Sorry. Now, I did something funky with that top one and it looked good. This is not proving to be it. So, in the top one, I really thought let's see, I've done that. And then we did the one in the middle. That's right. And then we did these 2. And like this. See, that looks a hideous mess, so let's undo that. See, that's not right. I just can't see any of how, and this, during my phone call with my friend, I was explaining that one of the biggest problems I've got, and have done for a while now, is trying to find my mouse pointer on the screen. Because you can set your mouse pointer to white, but then you can't find it on all the white windows that are forced to be white, whether you like them white or not. And if you set it to be black, well then all the black, it hides in all the black windows that you've managed to set to black. Because you want them to be darker because you're getting snowblind from all the white ones. And they went, oh, well, you're just going to here. Yeah, I don't have that option. Well, you must have that option. No, honey, believe me, I do not have that option. Well, you must have. Well, I hear your words. But I assure you, I do not have that. Well, you must. It comes with it. Not on this one. Oh, they must have removed it. Fine, but I still do not have the option. And so I have managed, at this time, to set my mouse pointer to be lime green. Because nothing else on my screen is lime green, and I've made it grow. So finally, I can find the chuffing mouse pointer on my screen, because too many times you click on something, and because you then type something, oh, it hides your mouse pointer to be helpful. Well, that is nice, but then when I move it to find it, I can't see it because it's white on white, or black on black, whichever you pick. And so now I stand a chance of finding my mouse pointers. There's only 2 here. Oh, that's what's wrong. Dumbass. Let's undo all of that. Let's undo this. Because you are stupid. You are really, really stupid. You are the world's most stupid douche. Right, you're the outside, and then you're not the middle, like I thought. So, you have gone from there to there. And that's the outside one of those. But you need to go undo the twists, because well, that's a thing. Right, so I need to think about this. You went through... Let me undo this, because at the moment you're not helping. And once again, I can't... Even though I know how to do the stitches, there seems to be a bit of me that can't undo them without fucking it up. Even though it should be really obvious because, well, I know how the stitch was done, therefore I know how to undo it because, well, it's the other way round. So, you are the other 2, you are the first one, and you have gone through 3 pairs of bobbins. You are the first one, and you now need to go through 2 pairs of bobbins to be the other side. So there are now 2 pairs of bobbins in the middle from each side, and this is the top pair. We then do the middle one and scooch it up because, well, this is a thing. And give it all a bit of a scooch, and we temporarily put our pin in. 1, 2, 3. Yes, this is the right place. So we put the pin in to do this, to hold it all together so that we can give it a little bit of a tension. These are the inside ones, and these now must come to the middle, like this, and cross over, like this. This then concludes the strangeness, and I regret this choice at this time, to make a diamond. Now, I've got a feeling that that's just a normal diamond and I'm being a douche. And I'll have to think about it for a very long time. Because it's like when someone says a phone number and they don't say it the same way you do. So my old phone number for my dad's house, which hasn't been this number since I was about 16, so safe to give you my old phone number from that long ago, because, well, fuck knows who's got it now, but it ain't me. Anyway, it was 37993, and in fact they ended up putting a 6 in it at some point, but, you know, let's go with 37993. And because you say 37993, if someone goes 379973, your brain goes, I don't know. Because that's not right either, 37993. So it would be 37993. I don't know, can you say it the same way I do, please? Because then I can pattern match if that's the same number. Because by the time you've added an area code and other shit, dude, you need to say it the same way I did. Because that's how my brain remembers it. Because, of course, yeah, like most phone numbers, you don't usually ring yourself. So, you don't memorise the number because you use it. You memorise it because you've got to say it. So, you say it the same way every time. And if someone reads it back funny, well, that's it. Your brain just farts now. And, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. In the, like a lot of these things. Oh, well, did you mean this? I don't know, because you didn't say it the same way I did. Sorry. And so, with this, I think all I've done is a standard thing. And then... doesn't feel right. That's because that goes in there like that. And so because it's not said the same, or I've not done it in the same way, even if the end result's the same, my brain's just going, no idea. No, I can't tell you if that's the same or not, because you did it differently. And you know, it's a bit like the going 2 sides around a square. it's the, you went the other way, so I don't know if it's the same place, because, well, you didn't do what I did, and and I only know how to do it the way I did it, because, well, that's what I'm used to, so bite me. And so yeah, I'm having a bit of a mad day today, so I could use some happy people to cheer me up, because, well, frankly, there aren't enough of those in my world at the moment. I was waiting on, oh, the system's gone down. Yeah, whatever. You know, kind of like, am I bothered? That doesn't work out either, so that's wrong somehow. I don't know how that's wrong, but somehow it's wrong, because you're not in the right spot. I plug you in the wrong hole or something. So, yes, I'm a douche. That's why this didn't look right. Oh, no, hang on. So you should be there, like this, and then you, no, it's the wrong number of bobbins. I've done it wrong somewhere. Shocker, Liz has done it wrong. Liz has made a mistake. Oh, shocker. Right, let's undo you as well, because you just seem to be wrong. You feel like you're wrong, even if you're not. So you can come out there. Right, you pair. Out of there. Right. You're a pair. So you thing together there. You thing together. So that looks too far over. No, it's not. You together. That. And you go on the end. And then shuffle back to you go to the next one. I keep going to cover them, which is stupid. The whole point of this is not to. Does anyone else watch Kevin and Caitlin a little? No, not Kevin. Edden and Caitlin. They do lots of, well, they predominantly do a lot of resin-based things, but they do other based things. Well, I find myself perplexed because I haven't watched them for a while, and I found one of their videos yesterday, and Caitlin looks about 20 years younger than she did last time I saw her. And when I mean 20 years younger, like, she looks like 12, kind of thing. Like, weird younger, not just, you know, healthier, happier, you know, kind of different. She looks, well, just like 12. I thought initially it was an old video that it was, you know, YouTube was trying to thrust in my face. But no, it's like last week's video kind of thing. And you're like, how does she look 12? Before she looked kind of as she was, 25, 30 kind of thing. Maybe, you know, and now she's looking 12? How does that happen? So I was a bit confused by that. Oh. which means you go down there. Should be alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. Separate you and put you back on a stick now we've sorted that out. My neighbour's got skip at the moment, and unfortunately I need to put loads of cardboard in it, but I'm doing this. So. Because there is a chance to get rid of some of Crack Mountain. I know what I haven't done, I haven't put the pinned message up. Let's put the pinned message up. Need to get the thing from the pinned message. I was going to do something. What was I going to do? I was going to do something on my computer. What was I going to do? Oh, put the pinned link up. That's right. I need my email for that. And then we go into here. And we find that. There we go. Highlight it. It's so nice being able to find my mouse cursor. As I say, my thumb is horrendously sore. And it's almost it's so sore I can't tell which bit of it actually hurts. It's just kind of like, my arm hurts, Mummy. Which bit? My arm hurts, Mummy. You know, it all hurts. All of it. But it just, I mean, I know it doesn't show, but it feels like there's lines here that aren't, and here where there aren't normally. And it just kind of really is angry. Well, I haven't hit it that I'm aware of. There's one sleeping dog. That's the other sleeping dog, that's a good thing. Sleeping dogs we approve of. So yes, I was really hoping to do the replacement table when it arrived today, because it should have been mere moments, but I got stuck doing work. So, and I am going to write it on my timesheet. I know that I won't get paid for it, but I'm still going to write it on my timesheet, for I will not be lying that I didn't do the time. I will not expect to get any money for it, but I'm still not going to pretend that it didn't take the time. What is the ping? Who is the ping? More to the point. I think maybe this. Pins. The dogs on asking me to show you actually. Actually, second thought. Right, you've come in. I want you to go to there. And we do that. Then we go out again. There, but that then brings us in too low. It works for there, but not for there. This is the problems when you make the decisions on the fly. As we have already established, liaison decisions are not generally a good plan. So I think that we need to go into you. My neighbour's been really nice, so I'm trying to be buttoned up. then need to go. You were the end of there, so did I cross you? Because that was a text message ago. No, I didn't. So I've twisted you now. That's good. You then go back this way, down the other side, like this, and go round the pinhole. It is there, like that, while you get to come in and do this, which takes us now down the right way. So you can go over there. Right. My neighbour's being really kind and offering to help me clear out some of my cardboard collection, and it's kind of like, oh honey, I appreciate the thought and you're being really nice, but you don't understand. You have no idea just how much of this shit I am actually kind of overdue to clear out. You know, thank you for your husband offering to break them up for me. All I have to do is dump them on his doorstep, but it's like half a house worth. Kind of, yeah. Okay, it's not quite half a house worth, but there's Mount Crapmore, which if I had a skip, would go, most of it would go in the skip, if not pretty much all of it, just because I'm too lazy to sort it. tried to do the twist before I put the pin in, so that you don't have to remember, but I'm pretty shit at that, it seems. I seem to be terribly shit at that, so that's not working out. Doing half a strip is harder than it sounds. Because I'm fabricating the edge. I mean, arguably I have to come up with an edge for the raw edge. Yay! Thank you so much. You have made a difficult moment easier. For I'm having struggles, many struggles, to be honest. Hi Bianca, it's good to see you back. Good to have you back. How are you both? Hope you're good. If you've had a shit day, come sit down next to me and we can compare shitty stories. If you've had a good day, please share, because I could do with some joy and love in my world. I mean, my neighbours are being glorious, and right here, right now, I am eternally grateful, but I haven't the energy to be kind of bouncy and happy, because, you know, they're offering to do something really, really important and really, really meaningful for me, and making up for one of my many downfalls in life, and yet here I am sitting there being miserable. I need to get over it, I really do, but it doesn't work like that, as we all know. But yeah, they are offering to be so nice. I used to get... What can I smell that's burning? I used... As part of my job before... Yeah. Well, loving on kitties is always a good thing to do, to be honest. So, I shouted at my dogs a lot today. Mainly, and you know, we all know that Liz is not very happy when flies bounce off her. For anyone who's been around long enough, you will know that I get quite pissy about it. And I make no beef, for I do. It is definitely a fact that if a fly bounces off me, because flies like doing that, because they come along and go, doink, doink, and so I'm sitting there, I've got this fly picking on me, I've got two co-workers that I would happily smack heads together, and I'm clearing up someone else's mess because they're on holiday, and it's not their fault, so... Yeah, I think the biggest problem with breakups is that you generally, whether intentionally or otherwise, have pivoted your entire being around this other person. And even if you are the one that says, we're done, had enough, not doing this anymore, half your life has changed. So much of your life, they are not You know, you're not going to text them when you get up in the morning. You are not going to stop by and pick up their favourite whatever. You go to cook something and you're no longer cooking for two. Everything changes. And it is utter turmoil. And to be honest, if it didn't hurt, you didn't care. So it is a very trying and difficult time, and it is something next to everybody has, you know, who's an adult, has had to deal with something similar. And there are no words. There are no good words other than do not be harsh on yourself for the fact that you struggle, and you will struggle occasionally, and you'll be all right for a bit, and then you'll struggle a bit more, because something will come up and it'll be like, oh, I can't. Or you finally achieve the thing that you were working for, that they knew and was supporting you through a bit until the big event, and then suddenly, well, they're not there to celebrate with you or even commiserate with you, depending on which way it goes. I have the same problem with my dad, because my dad died slightly early and rather suddenly. By the way, the anniversary of that is in 2 days' time. And I can tell you now, you wait till that's like 5 or 6 years worth of a relationship, because at least in 3 weeks, you may have got into a few new routines. You may have done a lot to bend and be exactly the right fit to, you know, school compromise, and I'm sure they did too. But if you've been doing it for 6 years, it's a lot harder. It is never easy, however. It is never something that comes easy. And you just don't know what to do with yourself, because you are so used to having someone in your life to do things with, someone in your life going, are you sure you want to do that? Or do you really mean to eat that? Or are you really going to do that? Or are you going to watch that again? It's surprising how all those things that really annoyed the crap out of you, actually you still miss. And so it is very important to allow yourself to grieve the relationship that you had. To understand that maybe, you know, maybe it was all your fault, maybe it was all their fault, maybe it was nobody's fault whatsoever. But it is a huge change in your life. And they always say things like getting married and moving are the most stressful things. No, they're not. Not necessarily. Because moving house, well, you're going to a new house, hopefully it's one you like. You probably picked it. You probably got plans. Your plans, but in a relationship ending, especially if it was not your choice, all those hopes and plans that you had will now go unanswered. All those things you're in the middle of together aren't going to happen now. Or there is just this huge earthquakes, you know, B-rate movie earthquake where a huge chasm rips the world in part, and there's now, you know, this bottomless pit between two bits of world, right? And that's what happens when you have a breakup. There is this infinite void of a barrier, because, now, I will preface this. I am on good speaking terms with the few people who adorned my life along the way that it is today. There were times where we would have been handbags at dawn. There were times where, frankly, being in the same continent was not a good plan. There was hate, bile, and you know, throwing of crockery and knives, and, you know, kind of level of issues between us, briefly. But I won't say it's all me, because I'm sure it's not. But I'm on speaking terms with every single one of them. The friend I was talking to earlier is my ex-husband. He has keys to this house, he has the alarm codes, he knows my bank PIN codes. Oh, mind you, I know his, so let's not be too pedantic on that. I also have keys to his house and his alarm code. And when his alarm went off last week, I turned it off, looked around the cameras, turned it back on it, and if it had gone off again, I would have gone over there to sort whoever was robbing his house out, right? I'm on very good friends with most of them. Some of them don't directly speak to me because they've moved on, but they don't hate me. I bumped into one when I first moved where I live now, when we moved up from London. I went I was technically in hospital, and I was on a couple of days out, and Trev had to go to work, so I was at home, and I went to pick Trev up so that I had a working car and could go around should I need during the day. I didn't. I slept all day. I was too tired. But I might meet him for lunch. And one day we went in, and I went to pick him up, and I'm sitting at his desk. Oh, where is he? Oh, he's got a consultant in this week. I was like, okay, I'm sure I'll hear all about that later. And in walked a bloke with my fiancée. Hi, Robin. And Trev looked at me a bit weird. How did you know he was called Robin? He goes, what happened to your face? I went, same's happened to your thumb. And you could see everyone looking, going, people like this don't normally speak. I'd gone out with him years before. We then met every day to go to lunch and catch up. With Trev, obviously, and some of the other guys, but we all went out for lunch. It was great to see him. Find out how he'd been. It was me, of all people, when we went to lunch, it was kind of like, he went, oh, I've just got to go and do something in the car. It took me to notice there was someone sitting in that car. She'd been sitting in that car all day. She didn't come with us to lunch. Oh, no. She stayed sitting in the car. His new wife was sitting in the car. Well, and to be honest, it's kind of how it often goes. But I do find that either it's been shit for ages and you thought there was still stuff that you could do, work on, there were still plans that, it's just a rough patch, we'll get through this, we're just disagreeing because I know this has happened and that's happened or whatever. There's a big project on at work and you're stressful and you don't mean half the things you say, whatever it is, right? And then there are the ones who just sort of wake up one morning and you are blissfully happy at the time. You think everything's going really, really well. And then it's kind of like, well, I've been seeing someone else. I'm sorry, when? When the hell were you doing that, right? Or whatever, right? And it is very difficult because I think it is very rare relationships do, which is what me and Trev did, which was kind of go, you know what? This was stupid. Let's not do this anymore. Yeah, okay, I agree with that. And walk away. One half of the relationship wasn't ready and wasn't done yet. One half still had plans. One half still had ideas that there was still hope and love there, while the other one gave up. And it is soul breaking. So Snoopy, I do absolutely understand. I've been on that end of the stick. I've been the one left sitting there going, what with no words to say, because what do you say? Because, only 2 days ago, you both seemed to be perfectly happy and all was good. And suddenly, and of course there is the problem. A relationship has to be give and take on both sides. And I mean, for example, we all have randomly annoying habits. If you could see this room, you would understand. Now, you might think that's why Trevor and I did not work out. This is not the case. But it is one of those things that, as you say, even if it was not necessarily a chance to fix it, maybe it was a chance to help him understand why you did what you did, or why you didn't do what you didn't do, or why you said what you said. Because they never said to you, I know, I really hate it when you get ready for bed and I know you wear curlers to bed, right? Not that I've ever done that, but I'm trying to think of something a bit weird, right? I find it difficult because then I can't get close to you at night, and, I'd like to. Well, if you don't tell me, love, I won't know not to wear them now, will I? And then, of course, inevitably, quite often, it comes out with the you know what you did. If I knew what I did, I wouldn't be asking now, honey, and would I? So, as I say, it is often a one-sided decision. It is very rare that two people kind of go down the pub over a beer and go, we've kind of done this now, haven't we? Are you kind of done with this? Yeah, you look kind of done with this. Yeah, I'm kind of done with this. Yeah, okay, yeah, let's not do this no more. Yeah, okay. And you walk away with, no regrets. Kind of how Trevor and I did. It's very unusual. It is usually that someone is still trying and someone else is not. And I'm sorry for you that you are the one left standing there kind of going, where the hell did that go? Because you were happy 2 days ago. You were happy that, someone was caring for you, that you felt comfortable, that you felt secure. And this is why it takes time before, often people are ready for the next one. Except for the girl I sat next to at school, who basically bounced between them like a fucking rubber ball. And pretty much, we had English 3 times a week, I think it was, and pretty much every class, she was sobbing her ass out over the next one. And it's like, so you might have English at, say, 2 o'clock on a Tuesday and 9 o'clock on a Wednesday. She was already on another one, having been sobbing about the one on Tuesday, found a new one and already sobbing about it by Wednesday morning. So, don't get me wrong, we fully understand, and there are no expectations on you here to be happy about it. We commiserate. I have certainly been on that end of a stick. I can't say it's the same stick, but it's a similar stick. And I do know how I felt at that time. And I said to you, my thumb was sore. I used to get, I don't tend to get it anymore, but when I got really upset, right. Yeah, that's pretty stupid excuse. Well, of course, if you don't have any experience, you're not going to get any unless you try now, are you? So that is a very stupid excuse. I was always hesitant to tell my parents about people I went out with because my parents had no value of me whatsoever. My parents were never happy for me when I did things. They were never happy for me when I didn't do things. They probably, if my parents were alive today, my parents would probably tell me they thought Trevor was an arsehole. Trevor's not an arsehole. He had problems, but we were not a good match, and we have an amicable split, and the world is good. My parents would have been the problem. Admittedly, his parents are also deceased. I'm not sure that they'd have been too happy about it either. But that's by the by, right? Do not feel under obligation to be happy about it. Do remember, it is not your fault. Even if you could have done some things different, that is always the case. So could he. He could have said to you, why don't you tell more of your family about me? Are you ashamed of me? He could ask you these things. You could have had an adult discussion over it. And you might have said, well, the rest of my family are assholes because, they'll say that, I shouldn't be dating, I'm not old enough, I'm not experienced enough. And, well, how the hell do you get experience if you don't actually go and do something, right? And that maybe, they would have thought of a better fit and they wanted you, you know, all of these kind of things. Yeah, I mean, I've often said this, right? And it's going to seem like a terrible segue, but go with it. Someone at work goes, I don't know how to do this. You go over and say, well, I think I know how to do this. Would you like me to show you? And they go, yes. You show them. And I had a girl immediately get up, walk straight to my manager and say, she patronised me because she showed me how to do this. After she had literally announced to the entire open plan office that no one had ever told her and how she couldn't be expected to understand. And I'd done it quietly. It's not like I yelled back, well, you're fucking stupid. Which, you know, maybe in hindsight would have been a better thought, right? He said, you know, but how many times have I explained something to someone at work? Do you understand? Oh, yes, they've said. And almost, the moment I turned my back to walk away, oh, well, I didn't understand any of that. Well, you should have fucking said then, right? He should have said to you if he was not happy. That is not make it your responsibility. You obviously talked about it to an extent. And if he was supportive that you were not telling them because they wouldn't take it so well, it is more his fault for being unhappy and not saying something. Because let's say I cook you dinner every day and every day I give you some chicken and you haven't got the heart to tell me you're vegan. Well, which one of us is the arsehole? Me for cooking your chicken when you seem to like it, or you for not telling me that you're vegan? Well, hello, right? Yes, in hindsight, maybe you could have told a bit more of your family, you know, or, you know. But if he was supportive of you not telling them, you have no reason to be sad and think that this is your fault. And, you know, yes, there are always two sides to a conversation. Yes, there's always two different viewpoints. But if he primarily said, I understand why you haven't told them because they'd be funny about it, and, you know, no one needs that shit in their life, then if he's mad about that, he should have said, I get it, but I'm still not happy. I get it, but I'd still like to try. I get it, but can we try one out? Can we give it a go with your next favourite, least offensive, you know? I mean, you know, let's say, for example, friends of my family were extremely racist. Now, I clearly am white. If I had taken home someone the colour of my bobbins, this particular friend of the family would have had a real big issue with it. But also, she's not actually family, she's friend of the family. And while she's someone I cared for an awful lot in my life, and I truly did, she's also deceased now, I would have been slightly reluctant to tell her should I have a partner of the, you know, offensive to her variety. Just because she'd make a song and dance about it and get all bent out of shape, and frankly, well, it's not like I'm asking you to knob them, so really, what's the deal about, right? I had a friend who went out with a girl who really was not one of his best choices in life. And then he married her. And she still wasn't the best choice in life. And, well, it blew up. But I couldn't do anything about it. I was not going to bring them down with my thoughts. I knew I'd be right, and I was, but that's so not the point. Because it is none of my business, it is their relationship. And I remember saying to Trev when we got married, because his family were rather well known for breaking into fights, anyone caught fire at my wedding and I will smack heads. This is our wedding. I don't care if you're sitting next to someone you want to burn alive at the edges. Today, you shut up, because this is our day. I don't care whether you like them. I don't care how unhappy you are. I don't care if you think this is the stupidest, ugliest dress. I don't care. This is our wedding, and you're guests at it. It's not about you. It's about us, right? And they were very good, and there were no fights at our wedding. That's a good thing. That did work. And I will tell you now, if my mother had showed up, I would have picked her up and thrown her out. But because she would have started some crap. But it was one of those things, is that it is your relationship between you and person, and it doesn't matter what other people think. You're not asking them to live with you. You're not asking them to, unless you live at home and you're, doing things in your parents' home with them, and they've got something against it for a really good, valid reason, which, let's face it, probably not. Whether it's religious, colour, family, whatever it is, it's kind of none of their business. You're an adult. As you said, you're going to be 27, right? You are well into the age of consent, old enough to know your own shit. I mean, Christ, most people of my parents' era had been married and got a few kids by the age of 27. So, and were they ready? Probably not. It is so difficult to have other people spoiling something for you when realistically it's none of their business. I mean, think of my marriage. Now, you've grown to know me a little bit as over the stream, but even if you thought my husband was the biggest arse and all of that, I'm not asking you to live with him. I'm not asking you to share a house and a life. It is Trev's no freaking saint in that department. The usual, what's the matter? Nothing. Well, clearly something is, honey, because you're walking around like a saptars. Nothing. Oh, really is there now? I'm not saying that as a woman we're necessarily a lot better. But generally when asked, we will explode and tell you all the things. We may not communicate them as effectively as man would like. Because they'll go, oh, you're far too cryptic. I never understand what you want. What part of will you stop pissing on the carpet was difficult to understand, dude? Yeah, whatever, right? It is difficult though, and as as Bianca says, communication is not an easy skill, especially when it's about something so deeply personal. When it's should we paint the walls blue or green? Well, most people can have a discussion about that. When it comes to feelings, explaining feelings is difficult because that's why they're called feelings. You feel them. You don't kind of, have words for them. But they'd probably be called wordings if they were called, And so with all of that in mind, it is, in my mind, I suffer from distinct issues sometimes trying to explain what is bothering me today. I can be incredibly upset, and I mean, streams of tears and falling apart, wailing on the floor. Don't bother asking me now, what is the problem? Be supportive, be generally, there, should I need it. Ask me tomorrow what the problem was yesterday. For tomorrow, it is history. Tomorrow, it is factual. Tomorrow, it was what was. Because, well, today's today. And I might still be upset about it. I might still be bent out of shape. But I can explain the yesterday because, well, it is historical event. It becomes factual. It becomes the, so-and-so said this and I felt that. And, I've been working really hard on this and they told me it was shit and how I hadn't tried or whatever it was that upset me. Or I, like you say, I thought you cared, and you know everything was going really great. You kept saying how you know that you agreed with me on this, and that this was all this. I had no idea that you felt like that, and that you know. So while many of you can do that in the here and now, I can only do that the day later, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just how I work. Now there may be more to it than you are aware of at this time, in that if he was that grossly unhappy by it, you'd like to think he would have said something. Because, you know, if you were together, was it 3 years? You know, that's not a short period of time. You really would have thought he'd have grown a bit of a pair and be able to say to you, I disagree with that. Or I have a problem with that. That doesn't seem right to me. It doesn't sit well to me. I want to talk more about that. I feel that we should discuss this more. But men just tend to thump holes in walls and sulk. They're a bit like small children. Now, not all of them, before someone out there jumps up and down and goes, "Oh, you can't say that." Well, problem is I'm not wrong. I'm sorry, but that, you know, I'm not actually wrong. And I wish I was, but it is one of those moments where you do have to, you just, you know, there is the, you have to pull your big girl pants on and kind of go, I thought I knew you better than that, but apparently I didn't. This is the way it is going to be. Now, I assume in the breakup, in that it doesn't feel very temporary, it feels much more he meant it and would not be interested in talking it out and potentially patching it up. If that is the case, well, that's how it's going to go, because, you know, chances are you will not change the mind. If he is prepared to be a little bit adult about it and have a conversation about it, there is the chance that, you know, you can have a full-blown adult conversation and say to him, well, okay, but so all those times you said to me you were happy that, you know, you were okay with the fact that my, you know, some of my family don't know because, well, they're assholes, and, you know, we don't need that shit in our lives, and it's not about them, so who cares, right? If he's not going to give you that opportunity, is he really worth that opportunity? The answer would be no, because a man who's worth that opportunity would go, well, okay, I want to hear your side of it then. If he's not prepared to do that, perhaps he was not the one that he seemed to be all along. Now, it will never not hurt, I know that's terrible English, but it will never not hurt that you've been lied to. And being lied to is one of the few things that will set me off. I don't care if you're angry, I don't care if you do dumb shit. Hell, I forgave one boyfriend for sleeping with someone because, well, you know, they got drunk, he got drunk, you know, it kind of happened, and the first thing he did was come back and tell me. So, yeah, okay, I can move on from that. You know, do you have her number? Are you still going to talk to her? Well, no, actually. Well, then, what are we worried about? You know, it's someone who's been and gone in the night. It was a mistake that you made. Let's move on. And I think they were quite surprised. Because, you know, obviously they expected me to pitch a bit of a fit. And I didn't. Now, where do you... Something's not right here again. I've got the wrong pinholes again somehow. And well, and that is kind of my point, right? Is that if a man is, well, anyone, any gender, any partner, any potential whatever, right, is not going to be adult enough to sit down and discuss with you why this is a problem to them and let you hear their thoughts and discuss them and ideas of what you may or may not be able to do to resolve the matter, then you have to, it has to be said, this person is not the person you probably thought that you were dealing with. You probably thought that they were a grown-ass individual who, it is good for you for doing that, and there's something really wrong here and I can't see it. Maybe this one. But in essence, it, as you said, right, it's not going to be an easy thing to overlook the fact that they clearly lied about being happy or being okay. I'm not going to say happy, but okay with the fact that you know, some of your family are asses and that you didn't want to trigger it all. Well, and that's the thing. Well, yeah. Bye-bye. I mean, Spoopy, I really... If someone is not prepared to treat you and respect the time that you have spent together and give up on it so easily without a conversation, they are not worth your effort, my friend. You are better than that. And that's what's wrong with it. That's what's wrong with it. You don't look like you should be here. Is it these two? No. This is the problem I have with Buck's Point, is that sometimes you go back to sort stuff out and it doesn't look right no matter what you do. And it just seems to be one of those, how did I end up here? How did I end up with not being in a position where anything looks right? So, you see, if I do this and put a pin in, there ends up with this, like, thing, but there isn't one there. And it feels like there should be. So if I undo this one, undo that, and then do it between these two, now, of course, this is one line too low. So it wouldn't be the right one to go across and do this, I don't think. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is. We go back and we fill in the blanks. You see, you don't go across to the next one. You and you come in here, like this. But then that doesn't feel right either, because the others don't have that bar. So it feels like you're wrong. And I agree that you're wrong, but at the same time, I'm not sure you are right either for the same reason. Let's undo this because I think this is confusing me. I think you are. Oh, I think that's why. You are not actually seemingly holding anything. Right. So you become this pinhole here. Right. Then we do actually. Yeah, you do that. You do that while I struggle with what the flying fuck I'm doing with this. Because this feels very, very wrong. Doesn't feel like the right pattern at all. And I can't see what's wrong with it because I can't get near it. You see, this is definitely not right. So you definitely are wrong. But you are also weird. It was going so well, and it seemed to be so right, and I can't see how I got it so wrong. Can you tell now? It was doing really, really, really well. I think the short answer is the great undo. I must have got something wrong. So I'll undo you. You see, you are all kind of doing nothing. Now you're not actually doing nothing, but you're kind of doing nothing. And if I get to the bottom of this row, it's like the two rows merge, which I think is what my problem is that somehow I have merged these lines together, excuse me, and managed to make See, none of those feel right because they're supposed to come downwards, not across. So I'm taking out one I didn't mean to, which is that one. See if we can see what is wrong here. Oh, God. You are weird, which makes you weird. Let's unweird these. And then give you a minute. There are rats running. Now I need to find out where the end of this one is. So you've come through there. You're now going to go through there like that with a twist. Onto that. And back out again. Twist. You get to sleep in the hole. You get to come out back into you two. Of course you can then. This isn't right. Already, this is not right. You, my friend, there's a whole row here of things that I don't have anything to make a row with. I must have cocked this up. problem is this line doesn't go all the way there. It comes to the front. And this is the problem I've had before. Is that looking at it, I just can't see how I've got it this wrong. Which is proving this is probably why this is a great time to stop. To be truly. Let's undo you. This. This just seems to be getting a bigger mess. I am going to sort that out tomorrow. This is turning out. And the worst thing is, it's like we said about deliberately making mistakes and stuff. I was concentrating. This seemed to be going so well. And now I have the monumentalist pile of poo and no clue how I screwed it up this bad. Other than it's shit. It's utterly shit. Because if I take these pins out, if I screw it up any further, I'm going to leave it the hell alone. I appreciate that it's been just under 2 hours and we haven't exactly achieved anything. Snoopy, I'm really sorry to leave you in the lurch, my friend. But please understand that we do care. We truly do. And we want you to know that you are not alone. It is not your fault. We are here for you. But we also know that there are not really any words we can offer you to make you feel better. Reach out to me on Discord if you need a chat. I did get a rando chat request, but with no message and with no servers in common, and I wasn't sure who it was, so I kind of ignored it. But, you know, if you add me and want to add me and have a chat on Discord, just write a comment in the message when you kind of add me a friend request, please, so I know who the hell you are. Because otherwise, I assume you're probably a spam bot. So, it is important to me that you realise that you're okay here, and that we are here as much as we can be for we're random internet dudes. We are here for you as much as we can be, and we, you know, Bianca and I clearly have both seen this side of the stick, and know that it's not a simple thing, but please know it is not your fault. It feels like death for a while, and randomly for a while afterwards, and still randomly for a while after that sometimes. So don't expect it to be fixed for tomorrow. But take care. I need some food. Big love to all of you. Thank you to those of you who have voted so far for my curtain. Your thoughts on the matter are very much appreciated. Just because, well, I'm an indecisive cow and I need your help. So, I'll leave the poll up for a while. I want to give everyone a good chance of getting round to it and not going, oh shit, I missed it, you know. So yeah, my friend, you know, I know there's not exactly many of you out there, but do take care of yourselves. And I shall see you tomorrow afternoon in about 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 hours-ish time, give or take a little bit. So, on the hour at least, hopefully, nearer. Be good and don't do anything I wouldn't. Take care. Bye.